Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, 4D. Good evening, Viv.
Good evening, 4D. Good evening, Bronze.
It is Thursday, the 13th of November, 2025. Storm of the Teacup, episode 40. Big 40.
I remember being 40. It was all right, really.
I don't. It was so long ago.
No.
I was going to make the joke and say I'm surprised you can remember that far back, Viv.
But yeah, I can't really. I'm just, it's all a bit lost in the mist of time. Don't remember it. But 40 is supposed to be one of the turning points. But was it really? I don't think so. Nah, not for me.
I always say 30th. My 30th was the one that I hated because you couldn't say you were 20 something anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And when you're in your 20s, especially my generation, we used to go, you're past it if you're 30, aren't you? Yeah, all the post-punk stuff. Hope I die before I get old, the Who and all that. But
better to burn out than to fade away.
Yep, that one. Yeah. But it's all right.
So what's on the agenda this evening? Anybody got any burning issues they want to address?
It's not a burning issue, but I took part in Mass Non-Compliance Day on the 11th of this week on Tuesday. It went all right. I still had to go into work, but feck me if I didn't buy a book.
We'll get onto that. Viv, a bit later on.
Yeah.
So what did you non-comply with exactly?
Well, you're supposed to not to buy anything, not to. I didn't go on social media. Had a quick look at the interwebs, but you're not supposed to go on the interweb. Not supposed to. These are suggestions. I don't know how much effect it has. Don't buy anything. Don't take cash out. Don't go to work if you can. I had to go to work, so that was one thing out of the way. That sort of thing, really.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I wonder how many people took part. So I didn't really. I have heard of that, but I wasn't aware it was actually on the 11th.
Yeah, I reckon about 20 or 30 people. I don't know. I gave the best shot, but it just goes to show, modern life, where we got it. We're trapped in a sense. We buy things almost every day. I'm down the shop buying a pumpkin or whatever, not pumpkin, but buying some veggies or whatever, and go to work and get money out the cash point, spend money. At least I use cash all the time, but it's hard to escape the modern world, the modern digital world.
Well, it is. I mean, can you imagine not being able to use the internet all of a sudden? The world would just collapse almost.
And yet people say, and a lot of people say this, older people who remember this, they say, the 80s and 90s was brilliant before the internet. And the internet has changed everything. It's done some very good things, but also it's created a nation of doom scrollers, addicts. It's brought out the worst in some people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be a bit careful. Try to rein yourself in. I mean, sometimes I'm doom scrolling. I'm thinking, well, why am I doing that? Hang on, whoa. What am I doing? This is endless. I'll never get to the end of it. I'll never get a resolution to this. Just reading people's random musings, and mine included, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the internet would be. As I don't watch TV, as none of us do. The internet is my source of information and entertainment for the most part. The difference from TV being I've got much. I can pick and choose what I want to view and consume. And if the internet went down, I mean, it's like we don't. How do we do anything without the internet these days? Everything is internet.
Yeah, I know.
So it'd be almost like What am I going to do?
I know. Go down the pub and talk to people.
Go down the pub, read a book, go for a walk. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, even our phones now, because landlines are a thing of the past. Everything is like mobile technology. That's effectively internet as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It struck me today. I want to say something quickly about this. The number of phone calls I was getting today in my job, where it's the connection was so terrible. I can barely hear people. They're muffled. They've got weird electronic sounds, like an aura around their voice. It sounds like they're in a tunnel. And I was thinking, hang on. I don't remember this with landlines. You got a really clear signal. Then you got really clear voices. So in that sense, the actual the end point of the call has got more shit than a landline. Reception is terrible in some areas. Calls are dropping. So I don't know. It's an improvement. Is it an improvement on landlines? I mean, they're going to get rid of landlines anyway. I know that, but don't know.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, as you've just made the point, quite often reception is bad. You get you can be speaking on the phone, someone goes all robotic, or even on the internet, or they're kind of chopping in and out, and you never used to get that with landlines. So no, in that respect, it's not. It's worse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So if I suddenly, actually, to Viv, if I suddenly adorned you as Lord Savior of planet Earth, and so I say to you, right, you need to change. What would you change? How would you reintroduce the internet, or would you turn it off? What would you do then?
Yeah, I'd first of all have a people's internet. I'd get rid of all the adverts, all the corporate bollocks. I would have it purely as for people, person to person or people to people. I'd get rid of the commercial concerns. I'd get rid of the spyware. I'd get rid of the basically the data scraping, the granular data scraping bollocks that goes on. So that, for a start, I'd keep landlines as well. There's a lot of things I'd do. If I was king of the world, nobody would like that, though. Nobody would like the things I do. I'd get rid of self-service tills, cameras, AMPRs. I'd get rid of noise in the street, bleeping, talking cars. Today, a van passed me. Warning, this van is turning left. Yeah, well, I can fucking see that, mate.
Whoa, slow down here, fella. I was only talking about the internet. I didn't want you to go.
All right, sorry. Oh, I was off on one.
I knew I shouldn't have made you. I knew I shouldn't have made you leader of the world. I knew it was a mistake.
It's a terrible mistake. And another thing. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what. And I'll throw it out to Bronze next as well, because it's hard to imagine a world without the internet now. Obviously, we're all old enough to remember the world without the internet, and life was fine. But I don't think I'd want to go into a world without the internet. But certainly, there is so much bad about the internet. I don't know how I would reintroduce it or what I would do. I certainly wouldn't want to turn it off, I don't think. But yeah, over to you, Bronze. What I think. Sorry, before I go to Bronze, cut him off straight away before he starts. I think you're right in as much as I'm kind of with you at the moment, Viv. I'd stop all advertising and that side of it. Maybe that would clean it up a bit. But anyway, yeah, Bronze.
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, it's such a complex thing, isn't it? I mean, the downside of that is you're talking about regulation, aren't you? More regulation, and is that what we really want?
No.
So because that would have to be part of it, wouldn't it? If you're going to start restricting things like all the things you mentioned, which that's all good, that all sounds good, adverts, data scraping, this, that, and the other, it would require more regulation and more restriction. And how to actually work that one out would just be I don't know how you go about that. It would almost seem like we'd have to sort of break it all down and build it back up from scratch with a new model.
Well, I think the advertising would be semi-easy in as much as you just can't have any corporations advertising. So if Tesco's put up an advertisement, you just fine them loads of money. You wouldn't have to have regulation. I think the sales itself would regulate it. That you couldn't do it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would work. I mean, a hell of a lot of internet websites and products, content rely on adverts to keep them viable, to keep them going. So it would probably be, if you got rid of adverts, a lot of stuff would move to a kind of a paid subscription model. So it would mean you probably have to pay for most things you want to see on the internet just for them to be able to survive, unless they are the big
by
companies.
the same token.
Unless they are the big companies who can afford not to do that.
By the same token, you'd probably only get good educational stuff on the internet that people wanted to share for free, though. So, because again, I really do think advertising and money making off of people is probably the problem with every walk of life, let alone the internet. But again, I don't know how you would do that, but I certainly think that's a major part of it. But of course, you say to yourself, the problem with the internet is bad people. You know, if I'm a bad person, I'm the one who's going to steal your identity. It's not really that side of it isn't just governments interfering in our life. It's bad people interfering in your life, or you're talking to your grandmother and you're showing pictures of your newborn child, and some disgusting person is stealing those photos for other purposes. So there's still, that's why it's so awkward to understand how you could regulate or stop it or change it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of, to me, has parallels to the free speech argument. It's like either it's you can say what you want and people will say really, really nasty things, or it has to be regulated and restricted, and we don't want that either. So it's kind of it's either side. I mean, I definitely agree about the whole data thing. People's data, your data, online data, should not be able to be taken by a third party. Absolutely not.
Yep.
Each individual should have complete control and autonomy over their own data. So if these companies want to take your data and they want to use it for marketing or to sell it on, that should be illegal unless you unless you consent to that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It should be as personal as interfering with my personal body space. It's
yes.
You have no right over my DNA or my internet fingerprint.
Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah. I mean, how could this be done? Well, for a start, there would have to be some kind of regulation, but at the moment, the regulation is corporations and government organisations and NGOs and bloody BBC. So the regulation would have to be very, very different. For a start, I think we could all do this ourselves, but oh damn, would we do it? We could use subject access requests, just bloody flood them with SARs.
Yeah, we'd spend a whole life doing that, though.
But we would spend our whole life doing that. You can get SARs templates easily. I recommend them all the time to my callers. They say, "Oh, I can't get this from the surgery." I say, just send them in as SAR. They get fined. They'll get fined if they don't comply. But I mean, that's still state sponsored. That's still an arm of the state.
Well, I mean, one thing with regards to data, which I'm sure most people don't realize, is when you either start using an app or download an app or whatever, and they always say to you, tick on the terms and accept the terms and conditions, and very, very few people bother reading those because they're usually about 5 pages long and a load of just really boring crap. But within that, you are basically consenting for them to use your data. So that, I think, with regards to the legality of that needs to be addressed. There should be a law that they're not allowed to do that. That would be relatively straightforward. I mean, it'll probably take years for that legislation to pass if it ever got through, but that would be a step in the right direction, I think.
The internet, when it started, was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah.
What do you mean by it was wild, or what do you mean it was?
Well, it was. There wasn't a great deal of regulation. I remember, being interested in sort of certain music. You could just go onto a site, download loads of stuff, burn a CD of it back in the day. And it's not nicking stuff necessarily, because these are obscure. Like, if I'm into jazz, Brazilian music, you could find really obscure LPs and just download them and get your own, and burn your own CD. Records that you couldn't actually get. I'm not talking about ripping people off, because that went on as well, of course. But just the freedom of expression, freedom of discourse, freedom of speech. You could say what you liked. That did lead to some pretty nasty stuff as well. But if you're a decent person, you can tell the other decent people. You just avoid the nastiness. That's what I mean in that sense. And there was not that overreaching control that is increasing and increasing and increasing. I understand the drives behind it. The drives are not what they say. It's in order to monitor you, track and trace you constantly, 24/7, and steal your data. Data is the new gold, as the fat blob Boris Johnson said to a speech to the UN in 2019. And he wasn't wrong with that. He's been wrong with a lot of things, but data is the new gold. I mean, since we don't, we're down to around 10% manufacturing. We are now the product, so we're being harvested by these corporations. And
another interesting thing about the internet, this is a stat which I heard someone say. I don't know if it's true or not, but you hear about the dark web, okay, where a lot of these really weird and wonderful and horrible things go on, and apparently the internet that most of us use in our everyday lives is only something like 5 or 10% of the internet. All the rest is the dark web. Now, I've no idea how you access the dark web. There must be obviously ways and means to do it. But if that statistic is true, that's quite astounding. I think.
Really. I didn't know.
If that's true, though, if that's true.
Yeah, well, yes, if that's true.
You're quite good with computers compared to me, and you don't know how to get onto the dark web. And I've asked so many people about the dark web. No one goes on it, and it could be another one of those sort of false flag things where you tell people not to go somewhere. It's so dark, it's so horrible that they don't go there, or it's that it doesn't. It does exist, but it's not used by loads of people. It's used by the scum of the world, and it does exist because I have heard things about it. It's not a made up concept, but I don't know if it's as big as they tell us it is.
Yeah, I mean, we can't verify how big it is, but I'm no doubt that it exists. But just, I mean, I wonder, we're talking about the whole sort of control aspect of the internet now, and I kind of wonder how the dark web operates. If it's actually affected by that in any way, or if it's somehow kind of immune to all that, or it's my knowledge is not that much to be able to understand how all that works.
No.
I mean, if I wanted to get onto the dark web, I'm sure I could. Where there's a will, there's a way. I think a lot of it probably involves coding, being able to understand the ins and outs of computer coding, and being able to do a lot of command line stuff to be able to access it or operate on it. I'm not sure, but it's not quite. It's obviously not as simple as finding a website. Oh, welcome to the dark web. Enter here. Or downloading a dark web app on your phone. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah. I don't think
straightforward.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. Dark web could be all right, but
Well,
you're going to get nastiness on it, of course. I mean, it could be full of free speeches. Who knows? Of all stripes. I don't actually know, and it could be full of criminal gangs, which I think would be a definite possibility.
Well, I'm sure that is true, but I'm also sure that a lot of national intelligence agencies operate on the dark web as well.
Mm.
no, well, obviously, I was going to say that there's the dark web, and then beyond that, you'll have what intelligence agencies are using, and beyond that, you'll probably have something even more secret than that. But no, they won't be on the dark. But I was also going to say that don't forget the internet is just an extension of real life. So, like if I said to you, Bronze, at the end or somewhere near you, there's this massive brothel where you can gamble, get drugs, blah 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 blah. Well, just because it's down there, you're not going to want to go down there because you're not into that stuff. So you haven't gone to the dark web because you're not into dark stuff. But don't forget those dark alleys where you live do exist, where people do their drug deals and get sex for money. It's so the dark web to me is just an extension of real life where people do dodgy deals and get dodgy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think of like the old days of 4chan. I mean, you might have had some experience of that 4D, and I've never been on 4chan, and I never understood how to get onto it or whatever. But people who in the early days of Q, when Q used to be on 4chan, and people were kind of following it, and they were on 4chan, and they said some of the things I used to see on 4chan were just stomach churning sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to see that shit.
No, exactly.
That was my. I was very, as you all know, and we joke about it. I'm not very good with computers, so I don't really know what I'm doing. And when Q came into my when I saw this Q thing and went into it, and you surprised me that you say you weren't on 4chan, because again, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I got shown how to go onto 4chan and sort of stumbled on there to look at the Q stuff. But yeah, a lot of when I say I saw some dodgy stuff, all of it was off 4chan. That's the beauty of free speech. You can do whatever you want. But when they were sort of telling us the things that were going on, especially with the deep, disgusting things they were talking about, unfortunately, there was some pictures there that I wish I hadn't seen, and I often say about one of them is one of, but it's true, I don't know, but it certainly looked real to me, and that's what made me throw up. But it was Hillary Clinton, a possible small child, and let's just say one of them gets their face cut off, and it's probably one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. So yeah, it was a dark place, but only because it had free speech. And again, I didn't really know what I was doing. I came off of 4chan quite early because, again, with PTSD, that is not the place for someone like me. And porn, again, you're always going to get that in the dark reaches of places, but every other picture seemed to be something taking you to some kind of buy a bride from Thailand or something, or Russian brides, or see boobs here. It was ridiculous. But that's why Q went there, was because it was this free speech place that was kind of, I suppose even that you would say was in between the internet and the dark web. It wasn't as dark as the dark web, but it wasn't as free reaching as the normal internet.
Yeah, I mean, it was the anonymity of it, wasn't it? That you could be completely anonymous on it. I think that was the whole thing about it.
Yeah, which again is where the whole anonymous and Q things come into existence because of that.
But you can still get a Thai bride and see tits on the actual internet, the legitimate internet, or whatever you want to call it. So no, I mean, the thing is, internet started as a military project.
It did, yes.
Yeah.
So it was ARPANET, and then it moved over to it included sort of scientific, commercial uses, academic. A lot of academics shared research papers, etc., and findings, and then it grew to become the internet that we know today. But when it was first released, I can remember first going on it in the late 90s and thinking, "Whoa, blimey, this is mental." Very
Have we ever
very slow dial-up speed and all that, but you know.
have we ever spoke about the possible conspiracy theory of how the internet started?
I don't think we have. Before you get into that, I will just remind everyone of what Bill Gates said, that when the internet first appeared, he said, "Oh, that's not going to take off. That's not going to take off."
Well,
Did he really?
no.
He did. Yeah, he
Mm.
did. He didn't think, "Oh, the internet. No, I'm not interested in that."
No, but it started as a military communication network, and it was even in the, I think, late 60s. As computing power grew, you know, and they began to link up various various systems.
I mean, I suppose it started as local networks, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, kind of computers locally, and then it just spread. I mean, I first went on the internet in the 1990s, I think.
That's
that was
right.
my experience of the internet.
Yep.
Windows 95, and a friend came over, and I didn't even realize I could get on the internet. He said, "Oh, you can get on the internet." And he just said, "Yeah, I'll show you how to do it," and he did it, and I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah.
And then my phone bill went through the roof.
Yeah.
Because as you said, it's dial up, and everything went through the phone line.
Yeah, exactly.
Phone bill, it's like cow.
But yeah, it expanded military comms, and then starting basically research labs, universities, academics, and there was collaboration. It was useful, of course. But now, where are we now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the powers that be have totally they're trying to take control over it, aren't they?
Yeah,
because they realize just how powerful it is, and how it can be used to suit their ends, their goals of control of everyone.
Yep, totally.
Well, and I was going to say that because I left school in '92, and I was the last. I think I was the last one in my school to not be taught computers, because they didn't exist before, or the internet, sorry, and computers and stuff didn't exist before that. So it was definitely the early '90s. But the story that I'd heard was that the internet was created in the late '80s, and that it was an English person that invented it, and he thought it was so powerful it was going to take over the world, so he leaked it for free. But he was supposed to be making it for the military. He realised how powerful it was, and gave it away for free.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what the truth is, and I think the internet was there for way before that. But yeah, that's the conspiracy type story I was talking about.
Yeah, but that's Tim Berners-Lee, who didn't invent the internet, but he did invent the World Wide Web.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting confused. The World Wide Web. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So that is what people use to just get into information on the internet itself. Internet was developed much earlier.
So the internet, which stands for internal network, that had already been created, and then maybe this guy designed the World Wide Web and was leaked that to freaks. So I think the story I'd heard is that we weren't supposed to ever get the World Wide Web. It was supposed to be a military only operation. We'd all be swallowed up in it, but we wouldn't have any access to it.
Yeah. But that is it. Internet's a globe. It's basically a global network linking computers all together through servers. World Wide Web is basically document sharing, and
well, I suppose that's what we should have specified earlier when we were saying about the internet. I suppose that's what we really meant, was the World Wide Web. The internet itself, we all probably agree we still need, because it runs banks, it runs prison services, life support machines. But I suppose really we're talking about the World Wide Web, aren't we?
Yeah, but when you type in addresses, say start www.
that's just a convention, isn't it?
It is.
That's I mean, it could be anything. They could choose any letters
Yeah.
to do that, but that's just how the convention has been.
It's a legacy convention. Yeah.
But I mean, we shouldn't also forget about the positive aspects of it. I mean, we're talking we talk about Great Awakening, and this is without the internet. Can you imagine how much slower or even not that would happen? You know, it really has just kind of connected people in a way that which we were never connected before. And as you say, kind of information exchange, and it's just a matter of sifting through, because there's an awful lot of disinformation and just out and out lies. So yeah, I mean, so it has been has played a massive part in getting people informed, for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, but I wonder, is that at a price of connections, close connections in real life? Because again, when I, in my teen years before the World Wide Web, I didn't know much about Americans and how Americans lived, or Chinese, or Japanese. Now with the internet, I'm experienced, and I like it. I don't know if I'd want to lose that. I can see anything from anywhere around the world, find out anything about anyone. But does that take us away from our real life outside our own doors?
Yeah, good, very good, very good point.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, but I guess with everything, it's a give and take, isn't it? I mean, without the internet, us three wouldn't be talking to each other. We wouldn't even know each other.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And we, and we used to rely on kind of information from from other countries through the media, through our TVs and our newspapers, and we've seen how they've been exposed for being completely corrupt these days.
Yeah.
So,
but not the not the BBC, Bronze. Come on, come on, the trusted BBC. No, come on, mate.
Okay. With the exception of the BBC, they're that's the arbiters of truth.
Yeah, and that's better. Yeah.
I suppose we have to go on to the main story that's on every news thing at the moment with BBC. Really,
we do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure everybody's aware of what's going on, and it's quite astounding. All the I don't know what you want to call them, the people coming out trying to protect the BBC now. The amount of gaslighting is gone. It's just gone into overdrive. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
these people have got no shame. They've got no shame. They got no humility. It's just incredible.
They're true believers, Bronze.
Yeah, there must be. There must be.
Yeah, but also on the plus side, nearly every single conspiracy theory I've heard about in the last 20 years from the BBC is starting to come out as to, oh, yeah, now we've got proof of that one. And one that I'd never heard of before was something to do with Crown Gate, when Queen Elizabeth apparently had stormed off from a crown fitting or something. And it turns out that they completely put it round the wrong way, and the Queen was actually having a joke with one of her chambermaids. It wasn't her scolding her as they made out. And you go, oh my God, how you, me, or us three, we're into conspiracy theories, and we've kind of probably spoke about most of them in our time that we've spoke together. But a lot of people don't even know that they would lie to you.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's time for them to find out, I think.
I think it's all coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the main story is the BBC doctoring the Trump's January 6th speech, but also it turns out that also Newsnight, which is a BBC kind of news program, also did that. And I'm trying to sort of, I'm not quite sure exactly the terms of what Trump has asked from them, because he's basically said, I mean, the deadline is tomorrow at 10 p.m. UK time for them to not just apologize, but to also retract all of the, this is where I understand it, all of the untrue and defamatory content that they've put out about him. I mean, if that's the case, that's going to be pretty much everything they've ever reported on about him.
Yeah, and I think that was deliberate. Yeah,
and he's also asking for compensation, an unspecified amount for the kind of reputational damage, etc. So that's his terms, and if they don't, then he's going to sue them for whatever it is, $1 billion or whatever, 10 billion. I can't remember the exact amount. So yeah, it seems a little bit kind of I'm not too sure of the exactly what's Donald Trump is going to require for them to get off the hook. But if I was him, I wouldn't have even given them a chance. I would have just said, right, I'm going to sue you. I wouldn't have even given them a chance. I mean, an apology, what does that mean? That means nothing. It's okay. So it's kind of, for them, it's a bit like they're finally going to have to acquiesce to Trump, but an apology, at the end of the day, they can still carry on doing what they're doing.
I honestly think that what the BBC have done is really bad. Now, you don't have to be a supporter of Donald Trump. He is the American president, though, and in a sense, the BBC is putting Britain in the position of a hostile power to the United States, and that is not what we want. We want to have friends. We want to be friends with our cousins. And
of course,
the BBC have absolutely broken that bond of friendship and trust between the two nations.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely. I mean, we all knew that. We all knew that they were like that. It just seems to have been this Daily Telegraph report, which has really opened this whole can of worms and brought it into the light. Because that thing about them doctoring the speech, that's been around for years, ever since January 6th. People were picking up and commenting on that, but it just never really gained any traction, and it only seems to have done so now. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, the BBC are, we know what they are.
Well, they're enemies of the people. They're enemies of the population of the United Kingdom, the countries of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, and it seems like much of the mainstream media are falling on the side of the BBC because they realise this is not just about the BBC. This has much far further reaching applications than just the BBC. So it's kind of, they're all feeling the heat from this. I think they're all kind of starting to realise, okay, this is something we really need to pay attention to. And with regards to the BBC, kind of trashing the quote unquote special relationship between the UK and the USA, Starmer's just added fuel to the fire by refusing to now withhold intelligence to the US.
Yeah.
Because of the attacks on because he's blowing up all these drug runners in their boats. It's like, Starmer, what the hell are you doing? What? Oh my God, he's working for Davos. He's not working for the UK.
Yeah. He's another one.
But also, I disagree with Bronze when he says an apology means nothing. I think it means everything, because if we had a UK diplomat that went out to America and had a chat with the Americans and came back and told us something that happened that didn't happen, that diplomat would be in serious problems. Now, let's look at the BBC as a diplomat of propaganda, but a diplomat. What they've done, the likes of you and I already know that they did it. But it's not just that. Trump said he wants them to retract everything that they lied about him. Now, we're talking right from the very first, where he was elected, where they started to show crowds and say no one was turning up. The truth is, there was loads and loads of people that turned up, but they did the filming the day before when people were just starting to turn up, and little things like that. Then you've got the BLM riots and the fakeness of their reporting from that. So for them to have to apologise and retract everything they've said wrong about him, they know they can't do that. It's impossible. He's put them in an impossible situation. And I think the only reason he's done that impossible situation is to tell people that the BBC is corrupt. Because if they come forward and say sorry, that's the end of the BBC, because you're not allowed to do that. You can't lie about a world leader. It's just ridiculous. And so their only option is to stay quiet and not say anything. In which case the public still find out what they've done.
Yeah.
But also, I quite like the idea that he's done the whole, they've got to answer by high noon on Friday. It's almost like the ultimate Western film, right? You know, come out at high noon or else.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's kind of sort of an optical move on his part. Maybe the end game is still going to be the same, but I mean, with regards to saying, I don't think an apology, I don't think that means anything. What I suppose what I really meant was, like, as I've already said, I don't think he should have given them the option. I think he should have just waded in with a lawsuit and just said, "You've crossed the line. Now, now I'm going to sue you." Rather than kind of playing this kind of game of, backwards and forwards for a bit. I don't know. Maybe he's allowing it to percolate a bit and kind of come
That's
to
it.
the public consciousness.
That's it. If he just came straight out of it, no one really bothers to listen to it. But because, like you say, he's percolating it a bit, that's why people are listening into it. You see, I think.
But lies against world leaders are common. They all do that. It's a kind of propaganda. It's a kind of, the big man syndrome. We've had lies about Putin, about Zelensky, about all of them, really.
Yeah, but I think that's not the main story. The main story, is PDF files and stuff like that. That's what is the real story here. So when we talk about false flags and we talk about misinformation, to a certain extent, I think Trump's attack here is a bit of a false flag, misinformation, because the real target here is the really, really bad people.
Well, I mean, we all know about the BBC's history with the PDF files, don't we? I mean, there's a list now. We've got Savile, we had Hugh Edwards, Rolf Harris,
Philip Schofield.
Hugh Edwards.
I did say yeah. And I mean, Savile as probably the most high profile of that, and with his connections and how, no doubt about it, the BBC covered for him.
It goes way back. I keep on saying to people, if you want an interesting deep dive into this, read in the London Review of Books. There's an article must be quite way back now, from a writer called Andrew O'Hagan, who delves into PDF files. Sorry, nearly said it. In the in from the very beginning of the BBC, which I think was 1922. I may be wrong. I think it was 22. And there were PDF supporters right from the very beginning who were known about and who were tolerated.
Well, like, if the three of us started a company today and put up a statue of someone outside, if someone came up to me and said, "You do realise that's a statue of a PDF file person," I'd look into it, find that out, and remove it. Why has the BBC got a big statue of a PDF file outside their thingy and not taking it down? People have tried to knock it down several times, and they're always arrested. To me, it's that disgusting idea that everything is in plain sight. They torment us with this BS.
But should we do this, though? I mean, where do you end when you start removing statues? And I agree, Eric Gill was a very he was an important figure in sculpture in the 20s and 30s. And what the BBC have done now is they put a glass or a perspex, I think, protection in front of it. Now, I've been involved on the Freedom Marches several times. We met outside the BBC.
Yeah,
and we were all pointing this out. We covered it with stickers, which is a bit ineffective, but there we go. And then later on, I went to see the fella. He was up there chipping away at it. Okay, I guess, but are we not falling into the danger of when do you stop? When you remove disreputable figures from, say, art, the art world, literature, whatever. I mean, there's been all sorts of pretty disgraceful behaviour. So I know what you're saying, though. I do know exactly what you're saying, and that the statue is well dodgy.
I get what you're saying, Viv. But in this case, there seems to be no excuse. For the amount of, I mean, the truth is out about the guy who created it, and the BBC it's been attacked several times. As you say, they've now put up a protective case over it, where, at the cost of something like £500,000 to the taxpayer. So they are openly protecting it. And if I was in their shoes, I would have just said, okay, we'll take it down. But the thing is, I mean, the case for that is really, there's no argument to it, I don't think. I mean, you talk about taking down, other statues, then each one on their own merits, I think.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, but I'm thinking of the BLM pulling down BLM, which is a state-sponsored organisation, taking down certain statues. I believe it was William Colston in Bristol. They dragged it into the harbour. Even David Hume, the great Scottish philosopher, they had a go at that for alleged links to slavery. Yeah, I get that. I do kind of get the point.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But where do we stop? I mean, Winston Churchill made certain comments. There's a statue of Gandhi in Parliament Square as well, who made racist comments. So what do we do? Do we cleanse the past? Are we in year zero? We have to be really careful when we're doing these things.
Yeah, fair enough.
The thing is that those statues are of real life people, okay, historical figures. Whereas the Gill statue is not a historical figure; it's just it's just a figure.
It's based on Shakespeare. It's based on the Tempest.
But it's not an actual historical figure.
No, it isn't. It's Prospero and Ariel. Yeah, a little boy and a flute, and it's creepy. Eric Gill was a creepy character. I mean, my God. You just have to read a bit about him.
Yeah, so by removing the Gill statue, you're not erasing history. Whereas removing Winston Churchill or Gandhi from Parliament Square, that could be argued that you are erasing history.
Good point. But then again, that negates the idea of artistic freedom.
It does, and I'm with you, because I'm totally with for full free speech and full freedom of expression. But I'm trying to justify it in my head as you were saying that, because you are right. But I guess for right or wrong, I'm justifying it by the factual idea of who that person is, and maybe that it's a publicly funded building, and so therefore the public as a whole get to sort of vote or get to say, no, we don't want that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, it stands as a symbol that the BBC have, since its inception, been a mouthpiece of the government, a mouthpiece of propaganda, misinformation, disinformation, and a protector of PDF files.
I mean, you've got that airport is it Denver, where they've gone one step further?
Whoa!
Yeah, they've actually got Baphomet up there or something, haven't they?
We've got that horse. They've got the horse with the glowing red eyes on the approach to it, apparently, and they've got all other sorts of stuff inside the airport, which is very strange, really strange.
See, I think freedom of expression. If Bronze wanted to have that mural in his front room, that should be allowed, but because it's Denver Airport, where even Christians might find it offensive, I think that's maybe where we have to look at the expression of freedom of expression and say, well, hang on, this is now, it's only an expression of, if Bronze wants to look at that, he should be allowed to look at it in his own front room, but he shouldn't force everyone else to look at it, sort of thing.
I mean, is there a limit to this? I know what you're saying.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, just getting back to the Gill statue and what it represents, or what he was into, it's kind of like almost. I mean, you cited other statues with regards to slavery. Okay.
Yeah.
Slavery and the whole racism issue is something which is out in the open, and everybody's talking about it and everybody's discussing it.
Yeah.
Whereas the whole thing about the PDF files, that's still kind of below the surface. A lot of that. That's not something which is really out in the open about the truth and the extent of it. Whereas slavery, it is. We all know about the slave trade. We all know about racism. We all know about segregation. We all know about that. That is kind of something that's openly discussed. Whereas the whole PDF thing isn't. That's still lurking in the shadows, and it's still kind of going on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and also, I suppose a lot of those statues, those people that did those bad things, they weren't bad when they did them. They weren't illegal. Whereas the other thing, I think, is all. Am I right in saying that's always been illegal?
I think
Um,
shagging a dog is has never been particularly allowed, even in polite society, even in bourgeois society.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah. So there's kind of like, well, he was a slave owner, but that was fine in the time. So we can't have a go at him now. And oh, okay, that guy was a whatever. You know, you can't have a go. Was racist. Yeah, but everyone was racist back then. So that's just tough luck. But
Well,
if someone was a murderer,
but
they always were a
they
murderer,
were,
and that was always a horrible thing to do.
yeah, for sure. But
how
they
long-
were racist before. If people were racist before the concept of race was invented in the 18th and 19th centuries, were they racist then? Only in,
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
only in,
Well, yeah.
in
it's only by the
retrospect,
modern.
you know. So,
Yeah, it's only our modern definition of racism that these people are now being called racists.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in those days they weren't. But I mean, also with regards to the PDF thing, it's like we have the age of consent, okay, which is the law. Does anyone know how long that has been law? I mean, talking about kind of underage sex. Was there any time when that was acceptable?
Yeah,
this
in
country?
Roman times. Sorry. Yeah, I guess. Well, the Romans ruled Britain.
Yeah, but yeah, well, the age of consent was different, but it has still always been uh, repulsive to think of sleeping with children. Surely.
Yes.
Well, no, it hasn't always been. Obviously, it hasn't always been. That's the point I'm trying to make. When did it become unacceptable for that for that practice? Because I'm sure.
1275. 1275.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we're talking. I mean, we're talking nearly 1,000 years ago. So I think we can excuse people from 1,000 years ago. I'm sure our lifespan was only probably up to about 40, 50.
Yeah, according to this that I'm reading, I've just looked it up on the interwebs. 1275, first age of consent was set in England at age 12, Statute of Westminster 1.
Still age 12. That's still pretty young, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but they died. Age 12 is.
But they died a lot.
They died,
Yeah.
Age 12, you're beginning to be fertile. I guess that was the thinking back then. In 1875, Offences Against the Person Act raised the age to 13 in Great Britain and Ireland. 10 years later, in 1885, Criminal Law Amendment raised it to 16, and it's been 16. Well, I believe it still is, isn't it? God, I know it was less.
So
It was less
when was it turned to 16? Sorry,
in 1885.
18.
19th century. It was raised it to 13 in 1875. But I remember being quite shocked in Spain that the age of consent in Spain was not that long ago 13.
13. Yeah. Well, I was see again when people slag England off. When you say it like that in those forms of dates, it's another great proud thing to be of England, because we're quite early to realise that it's not really appropriate to be doing it at this age, so we're going to push it up. I wouldn't be surprised if we were one of the earliest to push it up to that age, because still today there's a lot of countries that don't have even age of consent. But I was also going to say, and I don't want this to sound pervy because I don't think it would be good today, but there was a time where, look, if you are fertile, if you have had your first period, you're ready to be able to have a child. Well, in the laws of nature, that means you're ready to have a child. So there wasn't, without education, I don't see anything wrong with people that were having relationships with what we would deem today as children, because really they weren't. In nature, in the way of nature, they were ready to have children.
Yeah, I mean,
but by today's standards, that's different.
In a sense, and I remember reading books. There was a book on the invention of childhood. Victorians kind of invented childhood. Before then, or maybe earlier than that, but at least before then, children were little people. They weren't considered
little people.
They weren't considered separate. You go out to work in the fields. You work in the fields here in East Anglia. you'd be out age, well, whenever you could to get the harvest in. You
As
had
soon as
to,
you could.
you had to do that. You absolutely
Well,
had to
the
do that.
Industrial Revolution. I mean, the
Yeah.
Industrial Revolution, kids went to work in the workhouses, didn't they?
Absolutely,
Chimney
totally.
sweeps were kids because they were
Yep,
they were the
yep.
ones who were small enough to fit down
Yep.
the chimneys, and yeah.
People in the manufactories in Manchester and elsewhere, the new manufactories which sprung up in the late 18th to into the 19th century. I just read something shocking. Is this true? There is here. It looks like an academic journal. It's an abstract, so it's academic. In 1899, the age of sexual consent in some American jurisdictions was 9 years.
Jeez, really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And we were already pushing it up to 16.
Yeah, that's 18.
Sorry, Viv,
that's 1899. It's an abstract. I can go into the article now. It's an academic abstract. It's from the Bullam Academic Psychiatry Law, an abstract paper from 1986, exploring the age of sexual consent.
that was this country, did you say?
America.
America.
It says the age selected seems to be an arbitrary matter, the product of legislative compromise. The age of sexual consent should not be so early that little protection is provided for the child. Conversely, it should not be so late that a man can be held for statutory rape when the victim is fully capable of informed consent and readily acquiesced to a proposal or even invited a sexual relationship. Mental. So yeah,
And they deemed a girl at 9 able to determine.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, interesting.
It has, according to this academic study, it has ranged from 7 to 21 years.
Well, whatever. I think I'm proud to say that in England, in that around about that time, we were pushing up to 16. I think that's far more acceptable. And as I think I've said it before, I think by today's standard, I think it should be pushed up to 25 because they're not old enough anymore. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I get you. 2021, a law was passed making sex with a minor under 15 a crime. Before this, the law specified that sexual relations with a minor under 15 were illegal, but it was not automatically classified as rape unless the prosecution could prove the act involved violence, coercion, threat, or surprise. Whoa! So that's pre-2021 in France.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not really that long ago that there was no such law about raping your partner because you were in a relationship. So that was deemed normal, and so therefore there was no such thing as rape within a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's a very difficult one to go by when you can argue that a lot of blokes would deem that they have needs and they've got married and then something changes and I can understand why we didn't see it as illegal, but obviously for obvious reasons I can understand why it is illegal. But all of these little things, us feeling as a human being, feeling our way through the rights and wrongs, it's not always as plain and simple as it is. But we kind of drifted off. Really, we were saying that the guy outside of the BBC is foul and disgusting, and we don't like it, even though we're into freedom of expression.
But so many artists have behaved disgustingly. I mean, I've always tried to separate the art from the person who made the art. I mean, art is an expression. You know, it expresses the spirit of the time. It does a lot of things. It's central to human culture. So the work of art that's produced, should that be separate from the person who produced it? I mean,
well, with regards to that, with regards to that particular statue, I would say it shouldn't be destroyed, but it should not be on display at the front of the BBC. It sets out the completely the wrong message for anyone who knows about the artist. So it should be removed. I'm not saying it should be destroyed or thrown in the river.
No.
It shouldn't be set sort of front and center outside the BBC,
Mm.
especially not a company which is supposedly funded by the taxpayer.
I mean,
Well, like, I mean, if you two found out that I'd done something like that, but also I'd done the jingle for our show, wouldn't you two,
Yeah.
after finding out, no, genuinely, wouldn't you go, well, hang on, I don't want to use that jingle. That's associated with him. And I think that's the same. I'm only pointing out like that. I'm trying to find a way of It's saying that I don't think like we should have their art. If they were absolutely filthy or illegal in a way, I think certainly to some people it's repulsive to have to see any of their art, if you will.
Agreed. I mean, we don't really you never really hear Gary Glitter's Christmas songs at Christmas anymore, do you?
Exactly. No. Yeah, exactly. And that's not forced on us. That is because people are repulsed by it now.
No.
Yeah,
I know that's a good example, actually. Yeah,
it should be a personal choice. I mean, if you want to see art or music, or listen to music, or watch a film by somebody who you deem to be a complete piece of shit, that should be your choice. But it shouldn't be forced upon you. It shouldn't, So it's like,
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying about the removal of the statue. They should move away somewhere. If people want to go and see it, they should say, right, it's in this establishment here. You can go and see it if you want, but it shouldn't be on public display.
Yeah, and that's the way around it. You're right, and you should be allowed to have a place to go to look at stuff like that, I suppose. Yeah, well, exactly. And then
I'm not sure.
Then I can choose not to go there.
I'm not sure about that. It's pornography art. Should we? I mean, and
it is. Yeah, I think it is. Well, so again,
in a sense,
it's always existed. It's always existed.
Yeah,
but it's been on top shelves.
Yeah.
You can have erotic art, but pornography is not art. Pornography is just debauchery.
I absolutely agree. I'm really against it myself, but
I mean, with regards to the Gary Glitter songs, people can still hear them if they want. They can find them online and download them if they want. That's up to them. The fact that his songs are not played aired on public broadcasting anymore is probably the right thing to do. But if people
that's right. Yeah,
if people want to listen to it, they can still find it if they want.
Absolutely. So the point here, right? Going back to Eric Gill, the sculptor, who was well known in the 20s and 30s. So should we then, in that case, due to Eric Gill's misdemeanors and serious problems with, I've mentioned dogs and daughters and all kinds of things, say no more. I mean,
yeah, please don't.
No, I certainly won't. No worries, mate. So should we be removing all Eric Gill sculptures from everywhere? I mean, Eric Gill and Jacob Epstein sculptures cover the rather magnificent Art Deco building. It was the highest building in London when it was erected, which is the London Underground building. Help me! Just off Victoria Street. The tube station, St James's Park. Yeah,
James's Park. Yeah.
Because you look up there, and you've got bas reliefs by Eric Gill and Jacob Epstein, but especially the Eric Gill ones, and some of those are dodgy. There's more naked children with older men.
Well, I mean, there's naked children in a lot of classic sculpture.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean. Yeah, I mean, those little angels, naked angels, are called putti. They're everywhere in classical architecture and art. The little angels, those little babies flying around.
Yeah,
naked.
I mean, is there a sexual implication though? Because that's where you kind of draw the line.
Yeah. There's no sexual implication with putti, those little figures in Italian Renaissance art floating around, chubby babes with wings. But
yeah, I don't see them that way.
I certainly don't. But yeah, how you see what I'm saying? What you see what I'm getting at? Do we remove because of a Robin like Gill? Do we remove everything?
Well, see, this is it's you know, I used to let my son run around naked. I've got no issue with nakedness because I don't find that disgusting.
No, not at all.
When it's in the wrong context, obviously it's wrong. And so the problem with debauchery and evil people is they push this crap that what the reason I was saying that is you were talking about this sort of naked cherubs. They shouldn't ever be they shouldn't ever be an object of, oh my God, they're naked, because it shouldn't matter. It's not what that's not what's important. It's just the beauty of the naked beauty of a cherub. That's all it was.
They're just babies with wings. You know, babies are often naked. You know, so kids run around naked. So what? That's what they do.
Yeah, but it's how people perceive it. You know, it's like this, the society we live in today has become extremely sexualized. You know, look at all the adverts. You know, it's like cells, and so it kind of and the proliferation of pornography now. How easy it is to access pornography. Yeah. It's like people are being kind of programmed to view things more sexually.
Yeah. But
and
that's a big part of the problem for me.
As we move away from the from the glory of humanity into just, you know, as being I don't want to get too deep into this, but as being a reflection of God or gods, if you want, whatever. Into purely mechanical, materialistic beings, just kind of clever animals, then there we go. Why not? Why not highlight the sexuality? Sexuality used to be hidden and private, and I think it should be. Well, I don't mind, you know, erotic art. That's absolutely fine. But we're moving.
If we look at the Garden of Eden, we look at the Garden of Eden, like God, Eden, and Adam and Eve were both very comfortable with their nakedness until evil was entered into their world, and then suddenly nakedness was debauchery, and so maybe that's, you know, the real lesson of the fig leaf is actually just what we've done to ourselves, you know.
Of course,
because you should be able to look at a naked person without arousal. You should be able to look at a naked person and go, "Oh my God, they're very attractive," but not with sexual arousement. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I could. I'm from a generation that was sexually aroused by porn. Again, I'm old enough to be able to be honest about things. I think it has ruined us as a species.
Absolutely.
Porn, the easiness of getting porn is too bad. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's destroyed relationships. I'm sure of it. You know, the expectations of pornography, the idea of it being mechanistic, and the idea of it being merely body parts rather than two people coming together in love and harmony.
Well, I mean, it's also spawned a whole generation of addicts, a whole new genre of addicts. You know, people addicted to pornography. People, you know, that never used to be a thing. Not before, but it became so readily available on the internet that we were talking.
Oh yes.
That's really kicked that aspect of things off as well.
I know. And how must it damage young men to look at this and think, oh, that's what a woman's like?
Well, I mean, it completely decontextualizes the whole subject, I think, and desensitizes people to kind of erotic behavior as well.
It's a collection of mechanical body parts, divorced from soul, spirit, and emotion and meaning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, meaning. It takes a lot of meaning out of it. You're quite right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm just popping out to the little room. Be back in a sec.
Okay.
Oh, that's a shame, because I was going to say, I think Bronze needs to ask Viv a question. I didn't realise we rattled on about that one conversation for pretty much the whole evening. Actually, that's unlike us. We normally go from one thing to another.
No, I think that was really good. That chat. We don't know everything. We're essentially kind of peasants, really, just like we're down a pub talking. But
that was really quick, Viv, that you went to the little room and came back.
All right.
Oh God, he's not taking us to the little room again, is he?
Oh yeah. Turn your microphone off, Viv, if you take it.
Quick, talk loud, Bronze. Talk loud.
Yeah.
Actually, I had loads of things written down that I was going to talk about. None of them really matter, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
I didn't have a huge list tonight. We can talk quickly about the US government shutdown is over.
Before you do that, because I forget every week, and I've written it as my first thing today, and God damn it, I'm going to say it. I want to give a call out to my good friend Sarah. She always ticks up my videos. She always comments, and I keep on meaning to say, when it's your friends, you kind of forget to acknowledge your friends. So I've forgotten to acknowledge my friend that's always been there, always listens, always enjoys listening to us. So as you're listening to this, Darth, thanks for listening to us.
Yeah.
Now carry on with the American.
Well, no, just to add a little extra thing to that, I noticed. I think somebody who always listens to our chats on Rumble and comments regularly. I don't quite know what to call you because you go by different names, but I think you started commenting on the YouTube channel as well. I think that's you. So all I'll say is Billy. I'll call you Billy. So thanks very much for your support, Billy. Always appreciate you commenting and listening to us. So
I was answering someone, because I don't go over to Rumble, and so I don't see the comments on Rumble, and I expect you don't often come over to YouTube to see the ones there, but I must go over there and see what comments pop up there actually.
Yeah, not too many. It's usually just the same guy. I think it's Billy who I just mentioned. I'm not sure that's your real name, but that's what I'm going to call you. You know who you are. But yes, I think he commented. He started commenting on YouTube as well. So big up to you, Billy. But yes, the US government shutdown is over. By looks of it, the longest in recorded history. Of
when did it finish?
I think it was yesterday. I think they signed.
Oh,
it's been over the last couple of days. They've been bashing it out. So yeah, that looks to be over. I think it was quite maybe a coincidence that they held out until after the elections in New York and New Jersey and Virginia. Maybe they were just trying to hold out and to bolster the results in those elections. I don't know, but it's coincidental, the timing. But yes, certain Democrats decided to vote to open the government, so it looks like it's all going to be opening up again.
Hasn't it?
Right.
Has it been a failure? I get the impression it's been a bit of a failure. In the sense for the Democrats.
Oh yes, it has, absolutely. Yes, they've just exposed themselves even more, I think.
Yeah, as I say, I think this is part of American politics. They seem to like to do this, and it has happened a few times. And I don't think the people that do it never really win. It never really does anything. That's why I think it's a waste of time.
Well, it seems like they were really trying to hold the American people to ransom.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of clips of Democrats talking about leverage. This is our only leverage. And it seemed like they really were kind of holding the American people's hostage just for some leverage over Trump.
It's disgraceful, mate. Really.
Yeah,
I mean, exactly. Who is on the side of the regular American people? Really. I mean,
you get a lot of people angry if you hold them to hostage, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, I mean, they were trying to push the whole thing that it was Trump's fault. This is Trump's fault. He's the reason why you're not getting paid, or this service isn't happening, or that service isn't happening. And like I said, maybe that had some effect on those elections that they've won recently. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think it was one of the American senators, Dick Durbin, who was the one who one of the Democrats who came out and voted to reopen it. And he kind of said, he basically laid out, he said, like, this is about, the American people. You've got to put them above all of these shenanigans going on. I think it's curious that he might be up for re-election in the next election. So maybe that's a political ploy on his part. I don't know. But, what he said was basically right.
Yeah. We governments are on the side of the people. That's what I think. Well, I think actually, you know me. I'm not really into the idea of government, but you know.
Well, if they're on the side, if they're working for the people, that is what they should be doing. That is the whole purpose.
Yeah, I know.
That is the number one priority of a government, and that's what the people expect and should expect from them. And if they don't do that, then you got a problem. And and I mean, we're seeing it in this country. This government is not for the people. Of course, it's not.
It hates us.
We wouldn't be in such dire straits, and a lot of them, even rhinos. You got not just the Democrats. You got a large amount of Republicans who are also of the same mind. They're in it for themselves. They're not in it for the people.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's time, Viv, for Viv's bookshelf. What have you been reading this week, Viv?
I should have brought it into the sitting room. I'm reading a book by George Ewart Evans, who's a Welshman, a social anthropologist. He moved, and that sounds a bit boring, but he moved to East Anglia in. He wrote this book in the early 60s. It's called. It's called The Pattern Under the Plough, and it's about folk customs, and it's totally absorbing. It sounds really boring, but he talks about East Anglian traditions, and they go back thousands of years. I did not realize some of these mad traditions. I mean, we all know about horseshoes, putting horseshoes over doors, okay, as a symbol of good luck. We still have them. Why is a horseshoe a symbol of luck? Well, it goes back to horse cults, apparently, according to this fella. He talks about all these traditions, folk traditions, herbal medicines, the cult of the horse, in East Anglia, but other areas as well. But East Anglia, as you know, you've been here, it's cut off. You know, we've got the North folk and we've got the South folk. I'm part of the South folk, and we've got Norfolk and the North folk. And it was largely cut off. Used to be a rich area. So
Whoa. Is that what Norfolk and Suffolk actually mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I didn't know that. Oh, that's so cool. The North folk and the South folk.
It's totally cool, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's totally true.
Totally true. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
right.
It's like sorry, just to add to that, it's like Essex and Sussex is east. The E and the S stand for east and south.
Yeah, and it also means, of course, Essex is the East Saxons, Sussex South Saxons.
There you go. Thank you, Viv.
Anglians.
Oh God, I'm getting my mind is getting blown. Carry on.
And Anglians, we're Angles. You see,
Angles, yeah.
Yeah, we're East Anglians. We're Angles, and we're divided to Norfolk and Southfolk.
And Kent, well, see you next Tuesday.
Ready? Whoops.
I just made that one up. You can scrap
it. No, I don't know about Kent, actually. But that's interesting. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, the whole book is about Norfolk and Southfolk traditions in East Anglia. Now, some people include Cambridgeshire in East Anglia. I don't. I think, I do. Sorry, Cambridgians, or whatever they are called. And Northamptonshire, which I think has gone now. But largely East Anglia is that hump that everyone doesn't visit because if they're going up north, up to Scotland or wherever, to the Midlands or to the north.
There's no motorways that go out to Anglia, East Anglia.
No.
And West Anglia.
I don't think we have motorways in East Anglia, to be honest. I'm pretty sure we don't.
Yeah, M11's about the closest you get.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. But what really strikes me is the country life here. I've often walked around my town and I've looked around and I've thought, just the people here, they're country people, right? The girls, sometimes I have these weird visions of the young girls. They're actually, they would 100 years ago, they'd be employed in the big houses. They'd be in the harvest. They'd be picking rocks from the, from the fields whilst they're ploughed. They're now here working, like where I work in a call centre. There's plumper middle-aged women who had been housewives. It's such a rural countrified area, and so it's just totally absorbing. And what also I get is that the age that it changed was 1914.
First World War.
Yeah,
First World War, right?
everything changed then. Everything changed.
Just going back a bit, because you seemed to start and then you went off of it. So why is it lucky to have a horseshoe above your door?
Well, there's this whole thing about iron. Iron is both taboo and it's both a lucky charm. Some people regard iron as evil. It goes back to all sorts of. It goes back way back. Certain older tribes would only use bronze to shave their beards. They wouldn't use iron. No, I don't mean you, Bronze.
Yeah. I'm not that old.
No, that's right. You're not that old, mate. Yeah, they wouldn't use iron. So it's this weird thing about iron. The horseshoe is iron. It's also connected to the power of the horse. So before steam power, before anything else, the horse was the main, the way, a main mode of transport, especially in the countryside. Most people walked. Most people stayed in their village. They lived and died in their village. And so there are incredible numbers of superstitions, about iron. And the horseshoe, because it's connected to the horse, which was really important, which is connected to horse cults. This stuff goes back to prehistoric times, basically, to the Bronze Age, maybe even earlier. And it was severed by the First World War. But
if iron is so bad, why did it become a lucky symbol just because it was mixed with the power of horses? You might think that made it worse. I don't know.
That's right. It's good and bad. It's both good and bad.
Okay.
It's one of these multivalent things. It means it's both good and bad.
And am I right in saying that it had to be facing upwards? And because if it was facing downwards, that was unlucky.
Yeah, because
all the luck would fall out if you have it upside down. That's why.
That's right.
There's all this stuff. When you, it's unbelievable. I'm reading this book and it's just blowing my mind. It really is about the past and how we've lost all that. We totally lost all that, and people can call it, it's just superstition. But it wasn't. It's not superstition. It's a living way of life. It connects the people with thousands of years of history, thousands of years of settled history.
Yeah. It makes me think of good luck charms in general, like a rabbit's foot is meant to be lucky. Not so lucky for the rabbit, obviously.
Not so lucky for the rabbit,
And that may have pagan roots, because the rabbit was a fertility symbol, wasn't it, in pagan religion? Also, you have the Irish with the four-leaf clover. No idea where that one came from. But yeah, it's all there's meaning behind all of them. There's I'm sure there's stories behind all of them. Like I say, we've just been lost. And now it's just regarded as meaningless superstition, whereas it never used to be. There was obviously some real, importance to it all.
It's a kind of conspiracy theory. I'm reading this book and thinking, I'm reading this as sort of conspiracy theory. This has all been buried. When people look at the past, academics, educated, the so-called educated experts, and they look at the past, but they don't look at the past from the point of view of the common people. The majority of us, they look at the stories of kings and knights, but the common people, and the things they did, and the houses they built, the way they built the houses, what they did, how they protected themselves from witches, from spirits, from ghosts. It's a very haunted land, this Suffolk, I tell you, very haunted land, and I've seen some of it myself.
Well, the whole UK as a whole has got great spooky stories, and we've said before with all the elves and dwarves and all the stories, it's a very spooky country. This is.
It really is.
And any country which has such a long history is going to have these stories. I think these folk tales.
Of course, true. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, are we going to? It's approaching 10, so maybe we should move on to Prunella. Before we
okie dokie. Prunella, and given her full name, Prunella Margaret Rumney Illingworth, which I thought was a really pretentious name. No, what a great name!
It's a lovely name, really, in a way.
Yeah, that was her maiden name, wasn't it, Illingworth?
That was yes, that's right. And she took the Prunella Scales. I believe Scales was her mother's maiden name. She was born in not far from me. She was born in Sutton in 1932. I watched. She was probably more known for being a narrow boater and out on her in the canals. And I just thought, how English that was that she was into narrow boating do we call it narrow boating or canal boating?
Both.
Yeah, narrow boats are the narrow boats are the long, kind of canal. They are canal boats, but they're the long, thin ones. Those are narrow boats, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are you talking about punting, like kind of when you stand on the boat and you just push yourself along with a stick?
No, so I mean with an engine and with the opening the gates and all the locks. And
the locks, narrow boats,
narrow boats, canal boats, yeah. They were that size because canals, when they were built, they didn't have a great deal of width, so they narrowed the size of the boats. It wasn't like a river; it was artificial. Yeah.
They're all man-made, weren't they? Canals.
They're all man-made, yeah.
But interesting enough, Prunella Scales is not really known as a comedian as such. I mean, she's an actress and she's done plenty of work, and she has done comedic work. But I don't think if you mentioned her to someone, they'd probably say, "Oh yeah, I know, I'm a Sybil from Fawlty Towers." It's probably her most famous role, but I don't think she was really specifically known as a comedic actress. She did for serious as well.
No, and she was actually quite an intelligent young lady, and she was quite well trained. I was just scrolling. I can't remember what it was she trained to do, but and just realised that she liked the idea of being other people, and so that's where the acting thing came into it.
Brilliant.
But something I read that was really interesting about her, which I think describes her as a person quite well and how intelligent she was. She was asked on some Channel 4 program if she was left on a desert island and could have a few books. What books would she? Do you know the answer to it? No. I thought it was really interesting.
No, I don't know. Tell me, man.
Yeah. So they asked her what books she would like to have. Oh,
sorry. Just to add a bit of information. It's this program, Desert Island Discs, that they used to have on the BBC radio programs, and they'd have famous people on, and they'd say, if you're stranded on a desert island, what things would be essential for you? And carry on, 4D.
Yeah, and like really interestingly, she said she'd have the complete works of Shakespeare, but that would be in German.
Whoa!
And then that she would have the Bible, but that would be written in Russian. And I guess she couldn't speak Russian because her third book was a Russian dictionary. But I just thought, what an intelligent woman. What an intelligent woman.
No, that is actually brilliant. That is a great thing, because if you choose 3 books that you're a desert island for years, like Robinson Crusoe, you're not going to really, you're going to read the book. Say you've got, I don't know, let's just say a detective fiction novel, I don't know, a romance novel and one other novel. You're going to get through them pretty quick, aren't you? Probably within a week or two.
And she had forward thinking to think, I want the entire Shakespeare, and I want it in another language.
Yeah, exactly. That is genius, actually, isn't it? because you're stuck for years and years. So you think, oh, right, then I might as well learn Russian and German.
Well, apparently, yeah. So she did know German, because I then thought, oh, did she actually know any of those languages? She could speak German, but Russian was not her tongue. So that's probably why the dictionary was involved. But yeah,
brilliant, good, very good point. Actually, really good point. I mean, yeah.
Does anyone ever remember I wouldn't call it a sitcom, but it's another thing that she appeared in, she starred in. It's an adaptation of these kind of comedic novels written by a guy called E.F. Benson back in the 20s.
Yeah, Map and Lucia.
Map and Lucia,
yeah.
And she appeared in that. She appeared as one of the main characters, Map.
Yeah.
And
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really good. It was really good. It was kind of basically about these two women in 1920s England on this fictional southern coastal town who are vying with each other to be the kind of queen of the social scene in that kind of insulated bubble. And it was just, and I stumbled across it. They did I think he wrote several novels with them featured in it, but I think they did an adaptation of it for TV, and it was on one day and one evening, and I just happened to end up watching it. And it was really not a sort of thing I'd ever thought I'd really like, but I thought it was great. It was really good. And it wasn't laugh out loud funny, but it was very amusing. The whole kind of pretentiousness and pettiness and the rivalry, and you know, in this tiny insulated little town in the 20s. It was really good.
I've never read those. I've never read those books, but yeah, I get the point entirely. Yeah, she's one of she's just a great actor, really. She's just really great. I remember seeing her in. I really enjoyed. Oh God, what was I'm trying to think of this film. She was in. It was a adaptation. It was one of those really lavish production. Howard's End, which I think was done by those. Oh God, what was it called? What were those two called? They made a lot of these adaptations, but really enjoyable, lavish, but interesting. Howard's End was the name of the film.
Yeah, there was are you talking about a film or a TV series? Film. So, it's not Powell and Pressburger, was it?
No, earlier. They were earlier. No, not Powell and Pressburger. They were great directors. Merchant Ivory. I've just remembered. Merchant Ivory. Right. They did a lot of those films. They were big, and they were derided at the time by posh people. The Guardian say, "Oh, it's too posh," which is obviously because their Guardian readers are posh as well. So they didn't like this light being shone on the darkness of the posh. But yeah, there's so much.
Have either of you two heard of Marriage Lines?
No.
That's where she made her career break as a comedian, apparently. So it was a sitcom, but she was opposite, and I don't even know who that was. Richard Bryars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Richard Bryars. Do you not remember The Good Life?
Oh, I thought I recognised the name. Yes, that's who it is. Right. Oh, okay. So that's where she made. I've never heard of Marriage Lines. That's why I thought I'd throw it over to you.
Yeah,
two, but
good one.
In the early 60s was when she started as a comedian, because, as you were saying, she was probably more known for was it Map and Lucia?
Yeah.
Map and Lucia. Yeah. Well, that was in the 80s or 90s. So
was it
Map and Lucia? Yeah. Well, the TV adaptation was, or maybe even a bit later than that. But yeah, so the Marriage Lines would have been way before that. But she did appear in quite a few films prior to that, didn't she? I can't remember the names of any of them.
Yeah, I've got a list of them here, but before that, I was going to say,
did she do Hobson's Choice?
Yes,
Hobson's,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, that's a really good film. Charles Lawton.
That was her second film. So that was a very early one for her, I suppose. What every woman wants. She was in that as well.
Yeah,
the same year.
I don't know that one.
Uh,
Don't know that one.
No, I'm trying to look down here. There's not many. Hound of the Baskervilles.
Oh,
yeah,
Um,
that was the Peter Cook and Dudley Moore version. She
I
was in
hope
that one.
so. I hope so. Brilliant.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Just quickly on that, I did after we spoke about that a few weeks ago. I did go and look for it, and I've got to say it's pretty dire. That version, it's really not very good.
Yeah, I'd recommend.
Oh yeah, and Howard's End was 1992.
Yeah.
But I was going to say also a very not interesting, but a really nice thing about her is she was married to her husband Timothy West they celebrated 50 years together. So they were a great couple and he stayed with her till the end. Or they stayed together till the end, but also like he knew that she had Alzheimer's because moving on, she died recently, and that's why we were going to add her into this. Died at the age of 93, was it? 93. But they went on to talk about her illness. So sorry, I'd cut that off. She had Alzheimer's, and she knew it, he knew it, and they went on to talk about the issues with having Alzheimer's. So quite a sad end. I've always thought that's one of the worst. Eyesight, I wouldn't want to lose my eyesight, and also I wouldn't want to lose my mind. But I find that terribly sad to know that she knew she was losing her mind. It must have been a really horrible place to be.
Yeah, bless her. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's go on to her masterpiece. Well, no, not masterpiece. A lot of these work is really good. I mean, she's basically one of the many, many, many great character actors. So she'll appear, and you don't think, oh, there's Prunella Scales. Like in American films, you watch a film, and there's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, you don't think, basically a character actor. You think, oh, who's that? But you don't even know it's Prunella Scales, really. But she just does it perfectly. She just takes on the character absolutely perfectly, exactly as she did with Fawlty Towers.
Yeah, and that's certainly at my age. I only knew her as the woman married to Basil Fawlty, and she made me laugh from one ear to the other, smile from one ear to the other. She was so good at that role. So perfect.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So perfect.
And so different to her real life. So she was a good actress, Yeah.
Yeah. She was a great character actress. Yeah. Or actor, as I suppose the modern.
Yeah, she wasn't actually the first choice for that role, I believe.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember now who was. I can't remember. Sorry, but it all worked out in the end. So she ended up being the perfect actress for that role, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to say who was the main character in that program because sometimes I could say Basil Fawlty was the main character. Sometimes it's Sybil, and sometimes it's Little Manuel, actually. So, I wouldn't say that any of them, certainly the married couple, neither of them were the main character. They were both, or all three, the main character. Actually, I'm forgetting his real wife in real life. She was all four of them.
Yeah.
Just brilliant.
Polly.
Yeah.
Polly.
Connie Booth.
Yeah.
Connie Booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually, because she co-wrote it with him. Like you said, she played Polly, the waitress, and she was reluctant to do a second series. Apparently, she didn't want to do it. That's why, because the first series was, I think, 1975. It was only 6 episodes, and then it was like another 4 years before they before they did the second season. And I think,
oh, was it really?
Yeah, 1979. I think the second season came out.
Oh,
so it's because I think she was reluctant to do it for what reason I don't know. But
excuse me, can we go back? Connie Booth co-wrote Fawlty Towers.
She did. Well, she
did.
Bloody hell!
Her and John Cleese, I think, were married, or at least in a relationship.
Yeah, I think they were married. I think that was his wife at the time of Fawlty Towers. Yeah.
Wow.
She also appeared in some of the Monty Python stuff as well. She was in Holy Grail.
Holy Grail, yeah.
She had a small part in that as well.
I've always thought, I know I'm terrible for this, so I do apologise, but I've always thought she was really attractive woman.
Yeah.
Really attractive.
Oh, she was, yeah, she was lovely. Yeah, definitely.
I would.
And it was hard to believe that she was married to it. It's another. Sorry for jumping in. He looked like he was married to Prunella Scales. He didn't look like he could be married to her, to Connie Booth, did he?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the brilliantine stick insect, as Sybil called him one time.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening to this podcast, particularly Americans, and you haven't seen Fawlty Towers, it's foundational. You must watch Fawlty Towers.
Yeah.
Well,
apparently when it first came out, it really wasn't received very warmly.
I'm not surprised.
First few episodes, it was very lukewarm reaction from the quote unquote critics, and it took a little while to kind of take off in its popularity. But when it did, it just exploded.
My parents were massive fans. I can remember sitting with them. Actually, it was just great memories, and we were crying with laughter. Honestly,
I've got the box set, and every now and then I still watch one of the episodes, and it's still, I know all the lines to every one of them now, and they still make me laugh.
It's so mental, isn't it? As well, so really surreal and mental.
I mean, I do think I started watching through them. I got through. I watched the first season, and I really think I think it was the last episode, the Germans, was just so funny. That's when it really took off for me, was that episode.
Yeah, it's demented, isn't it? Absolutely demented. That moose's head and everything.
Don't mention the war. I did once, but I think I got away with it.
That bloody.
Actually, I don't know. I might be tempted to say I prefer the first season, the first part of the first season. Actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it seemed more. It seemed more unorganized, I suppose. I don't know. I like the Irish. I love the Irish workers, and they were more in the sort of first season. What was the company name?
Was it O'Reilly?
O'Reilly's. Bloody! I loved Mr. O'Reilly. I just loved the whole when they were supposed to build the wall and they block in the stairs, for instance. I mean, it's just so stupid and so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful show, really. Okay, it's probably not. I understand that some episodes are considered to be unacceptable in today's woke society.
But they weren't in those days. That's the thing. They weren't.
No.
I mean, there is one episode where you have the old major, and he's kind of says he has a few choice words which we can't really repeat. About the Indians and the West Indians, which always gets mentioned. When everyone ever talks about Fawlty Towers, they always bring up that and make a point of that, of how it's racist. And it's like, yeah, okay, by today's standards it is, but in those days it wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, even to the point that, again, you're not laughing at the racism, you're laughing at him being so silly. So it's not really racism, you know.
You're completely right. You're just laughing at the come on, Major. God, blimey. You know.
Yeah.
But Fawlty Towers. Any Americans who haven't watched this is one of the essences of Englishness.
Yeah, and Basil Fawlty was actually based on a real person. It was a guy when they were filming the Holy Grail, Monty Python, and they were staying at this hotel, and it was filmed down in the West Country, Devon or Cornwall somewhere, and they stayed at this hotel, and the guy who ran the hotel was just so rude and completely he just seemed like the last person who would want to be running a hotel. When they finished filming, John Cleese stayed on at the hotel just to study this guy. This guy is comedy gold, and he based Basil Fawlty on him.
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
and he
That's
just
right. Yeah.
and somebody described him as someone, a hotel owner who saw the guests as an inconvenience,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And he kind of took umbrage to Terry Gilliam, who's like the American member of the Monty Python team. He got offended about how he used his cutlery or something. And on another occasion, he took Eric Idle's briefcase and threw it out of a window. And they asked why, and he said because it might contain a bomb.
Oh, magic! Yeah. It's dear. I mean, the thing is, I don't know about you two blokes, but I think there's something in the English character that we quite like being offended. I always used to go to, and you'll know this about the Wonky restaurant, the Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. Do you know that one, Bronze?
Yeah.
And you'd go there. I went there the last time I went there. I went with St. Lady Feckenhall actually, and they were very polite. But you used to go there, and you'd be sitting. It was a big old restaurant on 3 or 4 floors. You'd sit down, you'd order your meal, and the waiter would come along and say, "You got to move now. You move now." And you say, "What do you mean? We got a big party coming." And you say, "No, but we like it here. You don't like it? You fuck off." Oh, okay.
Well, that was its main attraction. People went there just because of the rude waiters. The food really wasn't all that. It was nothing special.
No, it's all right, but yeah.
I mean, not for Chinatown. You got your choice of Chinese restaurants in Chinatown, and you can choose much better ones than that. That's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. You go there to be abused by the waiters. So
you did. People did. I mean, my mate Robin, bless his soul, rest in peace. It was his favourite Chinese restaurant. He'd go there and he'd just be cracking up at the rudeness of the waiters.
Yeah.
And she just had that, going back to Scales, she just had that look that she could give Basil. And, it was just comic. She didn't have to say anything. She would just give that look or smack him on the head or whatever it was. But mainly it was just that look, and it was just hilarious that she was putting him down in such a manner.
Yeah, she would just look at him, and he would jump. He would jump back.
And he would jump, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He'd jump. Oh, yes, dear. I'm doing it now.
Yeah, and so some of the names that he came up with are like my little nest of vipers, or my
I remember,
or my little, what was it? My little piranha fish. That's what he called her. My little, yes,
yeah. They're going out to the car, and she's looking around, and she says to herself, or she says out loud, "Oh, now have I got everything?" And Basil sort of leans in and he says, "Handbag, knuckle dusters, flick knife. Yeah, I think you've got everything." It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know if how much Americans would get this, because it is a weird kind of English comedy, isn't it?
Well, I think like Monty Python, I think the Americans love it.
Oh, they love it. They do love it.
They got Monty Python.
Yeah,
they love it. So I think this is just, I'm sure. I mean, it's just a setting, really. It's a quintessential English setting in Torquay, the English Riviera, and kind of the small insular English seaside town, and the eccentricities of the guests, not to mention Forty himself,
and the shit food.
Yeah. And whether you think it's racist, sexist, or whatever, you have to remember that most of the time we're laughing at him for being so stupid. So again, you can't put this racism or sexism or any of that onto it, because really we're laughing at a man that's having a midlife crisis every episode.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
I mean, we're laughing at his bigotry and his stupidity. We're not laughing at the actual offense that he's giving out.
Yeah, but that's when perhaps we were more observant and, dare I say, a bit more clever about being able to, see through the surface.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
And I loved it when she was on the phone. She'd often be on the phone, wouldn't she? And Baz would be walking past, we used to go, "Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, no."
She had the worst laugh in the world.
She had a bad braying laugh. Yeah, I know.
And even O'Reilly was scared of her. Like, if he was fine with Basil giving him a, but when it was like, if you don't sort it out, Basil, I'll be doing it. And even O'Reilly was scared of her.
Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, bless her and rest in peace.
Yeah.
Such a. It's only literally. When was it? She died. It's literally last month, wasn't it?
Yeah. Very recently.
The end of last month. So it's very, very sad. But she had a good innings, and was it two children? She had two boys. One of them's gone into the acting world, and one of them hasn't. But and a great relationship with a great man, who clearly loved her. So
yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
That's right. Yeah. And look, we've gone we do it every time we dribble on over our time limit. Well, not that we have a limit, but I always think I want to get our talks under 2 hours. I think it's a bit of
I know.
I don't know if I think it's an inconvenience to ask someone to listen to me for 2 hours. I don't know.
I know what you mean. Exactly. We're rambling on. It's like we're down the pub and we can go on and on for hours more.
Okay.
And I just don't know. It's getting a bit late. I'm not too sure about my command of dad jokes. It was great last week, but
no, that's all right. Sometimes I think the audience can be relaxed from your joke telling. That's all right.
I'm afraid I will not spare them that mercy this week.
No, to be honest, there's tumbleweed blowing through my brain as regards jokes. So
that's all right. I've got one or two. I've got one or two to talk to you with.
Go on, son.
Well, kind of in the same vein as 40 Towers. My wife screamed to me, "You haven't listened to a single word I've said, have you?" And I thought, what a weird way to start a conversation.
Yeah.
4D, have you got any?
I was just going to say, from 40 Towers, my favourite line in 40 Towers is when Manuel was coming in with some silver service, and Basil looks over and he says, Manuel, come here. There's too much butter on those trays. And he says, yeah. And he says, there is too much butter on those trays. And Manuel says back, no, Mr. Faulty, it's uno, dos, tres. And I've always liked that as one of my favourite 40 Towers jokes.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And the thing was, what's the fella's name? Andrew Sachs. Yeah, he wasn't Spanish.
No, he wasn't. No, he was English, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I think he actually might have originally been born in Germany, but he was English.
Yeah.
I think he was of German descent. Yeah. Anyway, a guy walks into a pub with a steering wheel down the front of his trousers. The barman says, "That looks uncomfortable." The guy says, "Yeah, it's driving me nuts."
Oh dear.
Yeah, I heard the US Mint had stopped making pennies. It makes no sense.
Oh, you're recycling that. I think
Did you? Oh, right, okay, apologies for that. Right. Did you hear about the cross-eyed teacher?
Go on.
He couldn't control his pupils. Here you go. What is the difference? What is the difference between What is the difference between a well-dressed man on a tricycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle?
Go on.
Attire.
Go on.
Attire.
Attire. Of course.
Yeah. Have you got any 4D? Please help me.
I haven't, but we Bronze is ruling us on jokes every week, so I don't mind. I genuinely didn't have any for this week. No.
I don't know about ruling you.
I would agree with 4D.
I think you're quite good at telling jokes, actually. Believe it or not,
really is.
Really well. Practice makes perfect. So I've had plenty of opportunities here.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, so we all. But I kind of agree that, although I was quite proud of my contributions last week, although I nicked them.
Well, yeah, these are not my jokes. I nick these too.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't think any of them are.
Well,
I don't make up jokes.
That changes everything. Okay.
One more for the road. One more for the road.
Go on in. Yeah.
Scientists got bored after watching the Earth turn for 24 hours, so they called it a day. As I think we should.
Wow. All right. Well,
on that last joke, I think I'd say good day to you two as well.
Yeah.
Good day, good sirs. Good day.
Indeed. Have a wonderful week, as best as you can make it. Remember, keep up your PMA, positive mental attitude. Resist. Go far.
Just quickly, did you see that Ricky Gervais had loads of his adverts banned from the tube station? What was it? Something about next time you're underground, it could be forever. So have a drink of whiskey.
There was another one that had him with sitting there with a glass of it, and it just says, "Welcome to London. I hope you brought your stab vest."
Brilliant. And they banned them, right? Okay, I see. Who banned them? Mayor Khan.
Yeah, Sadiq Khan.
Yeah. Fuck him. Pardon my French. Oh, actually, it's Anglo-Saxon, I think, but never mind.